Running a brokerage is hard work, so whether you're focused on building your own sales pipeline, hiring the best agents, leveling up your team's production, or protecting culture you've built, you're in the right place. Real estate brings the challenges, and we share the solution. Welcome to the show dedicated to broker entrepreneurs. Welcome to the Brokerpreneur Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Brokerpreneur Podcast. I'm Dr. Ben Spears, the Doctor of Flow. I'm here as usual. I'm going to wait just a second because I'm here in the Brokerpreneur mobile. If you guys are watching on YouTube, if you're listening, I apologize if it doesn't sound just as crisp as always. But I'm here as usual with Matt By, the big guy. What's up, Matt?
Just living the dream, Dr. Ben, just like usual, man. I'm excited about the guest that we've got here. Who doesn't like talking? I'm not going to ruin anything, but who doesn't like talking to somebody that understands equities and how to put investment properties together and has a Wall Street background? Who doesn't like talking to a guy like that?
Yeah.
Ben, I'm not gonna ruin the introduction because we know I wouldn't do it the right way. Tell us who we're going to talk to today.
Yeah, of course. So we have Rob Costomiris. He is the president of MIOYM Equities. How's it going, Rob?
That's going well. I appreciate you guys having me on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. I told Matt, I said, I'm going to be in the car, but I am not going to miss this one. So I'm super excited. We had a great conversation the first time that we met. Super excited to have a great conversation this time as well. Before we get started, I want to remind all of our listeners to head on down to the links in the description below and register for Brokerpreneur Not So Secret Society. It's a free mastermind that we have every single Friday to help you guys grow your brokerages. So Rob, tell us, I know that I'm imagining you were 5 years old. You were probably playing with G.I. Joes or something like that. And you're like, this is boring. I think I just want to do equities. I think I'm going to work with equities. Is that kind of how you got into this?
Oh, yeah, 100%. That couldn't be much further from the truth. I don't even think I knew what I wanted to do till even when I got into Wall Street in the year 2000, I didn't even think I knew I wanted to get into it then. It wasn't until I started doing it and becoming successful in it was when I really started loving it. And I always say, my daughter's 14 and she has her friends, and we're in somewhat of a well-to-do area. And they all her friends know they want to be lawyers, accountants, doctors, things of that nature. And I don't know what I want to be. I'm like, I'm 40 something years old and I still don't know what I want to be. So you're in good hands. So yeah, no, I never knew what I wanted to be. I answered an ad for a stockbroker trainee. I got into it, never really liked sales at first, but I just fell into it. And as I got better at it, I just started loving it. And then I started growing from there. I started off as a stockbroker, financial advisor. The difference is a stockbroker just trades stocks and sells individual stocks to people, where a financial advisor looks at entire portfolios and diversifying and taking care of risk and does a little bit more than what the stockbroker does. And then in 2011, a few partners and I started our own securities broker dealer. And for those out there that don't know what a securities broker dealer is, it's where it's like a TD Waterhouse, Morgan Stanley, but we were minuscule compared to those guys. We grew to about 150 advisors through 5 different states, and we had a nice size to us. And I got a little bored doing that, if you will, after 20 some odd years. I wouldn't say it was boredom. I think it was just needing a change, and called up a friend of mine, made several calls, but one of which was to my current partner, Mark Cox. And he said, as soon as I had sent out a text, he called me and said, I want you. I said, you want me for what? You do real estate. I do investments. He goes, I know, I need somebody to ramp up my investment division. And after a bunch of calls and about 6 months of negotiating, here we are. 3 years later, here we are, and running MIOYM Equities.
I love it. That's so killer. Okay, so tell us, whenever you say equities, are you talking about a REIT, or how exactly does that work? Are you purchasing bulks of property? Tell us a little bit about exactly what you do so that the brokers that are listening have a better understanding of what you mean when you say equities.
So for simplistic sake, it is like a REIT, but we are not like a REIT in the sense, it's like a REIT in the investment sense, but we are not a REIT in the sense that you put your money into a pool of investments. Our investors are involved in a specific property or properties or portfolio properties. They know exactly what properties they are invested in. Generally, we give them an anticipated hold rate, which is anywhere between 12 and 24 months, depending on the project. And we give them a nice little return, which is 17.5% annualized for the time, and allowing us to use their money.
I love it. And so you told us, I think on our first call, how many how much square footage you had under your management, correct? Is that
I don't know the square footage. I think we have about 57 properties, give or take a few. I know we just sold a few and then we closed on 2 properties just recently. So I would just stay around there, 57.
mostly offices, correct? Commercial office space?
Single family. We're getting into multifamily now, which we just closed on a property in Dallas, Texas, and we're about to close on another property. And then we're looking at a few properties here in Westchester, New York, where we're located.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's gotta be fun, right? That's the way that I see that. That's like real estate on steroids. That's probably going 1,000,000 miles an hour, 5,000 numbers flying at you. You're trying to figure out what the best direction to go in is, and you've got a responsibility to investors, right? So you got to make super smart decisions.
Yeah, it's a matter of trying to get capital, trying to get it in as fast as possible and get it deployed as fast as possible, but not too fast because you don't want to make mistakes. And believe it or not, we say no way more times than we say yes to properties. And I'm going to say a good 98% of things that we look at, we're saying no to. And we're trying to work with a former architect and developer now, and he keeps bringing us deals, and I keep telling him no. And so I played golf with him, and I was like, Barry, listen, I'm sorry that I keep saying no to you. I apologize. I go, but it's just not what we're looking for. I can't find the right numbers to make sense. He goes, no. He goes, the more you say no, the more I want to do business with you guys, because I think that you guys actually know what you're doing. You actually have a buy box and you actually have something you're looking for. Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah, that's killer.
Threw me for a loop.
Yeah, that's killer. So if we've got brokers, and I'll let Dr. Ben get to this later, if we've got brokers that are coming across properties that they think are a great fit, is there a way that they can just submit them to you and you review them? Or do you have somebody that deals with that? Do you have like your own broker that they need to get in contact with before it gets to you? Tell us a little bit about that part of what you do.
No, I deal with brokers all day long. I have a few brokerage agencies as clients, not clients, but I go and present to them. And we have analysts, but we don't have a broker in-house per se. There's 3 ways that brokers can work with us. They could obviously find a property for us, which we could analyze and figure out. And usually within 24 hours, I could have an answer for you, whether it's good or bad, just based off of the numbers, assuming that it's an easy one. They could send us investors, which we pay a not nice little, but a decent referral fee. Or they could help us sell our properties as well. So it's finding a property, finding investors, or selling or invest themselves if they find what we do is something good for them.
Yeah, and so they have to be qualified investors, is that correct?
Yes, an accredited investor, yes.
Accredited, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, I love all that. That's fantastic. Let's say that a broker is out there in the market right now. And so a lot of what we do is we help brokers recruit. So how does a broker, let's say that I'm trying to leverage this from a recruiting standpoint. That means that I'm going to go out and talk to other agents and say that I have an opportunity for them to start the conversation with them about how they might be able to help. As a broker, I could reach out to 10 or 15, 20 agents and say, hey, listen, I've got somebody that I know, his name is Rob. He actually deals with equities and real estate. If you come across any properties that might be a good fit, let me know and we'll get you in touch with Rob and run in the direction that we need to run with that. So if you're a broker out there listening to this and you're like, okay, how do I make the most of this? Man, any of your really productive agents, any of your agents that historically have sold properties that are that might fit in that buy box like you were talking about just a minute ago, or somebody that's coming across commercial deals. As a broker, this is a great chance for you to reach out to them and say, I've got a wonderful connection, and then get them connected, which only begins the conversation between the broker and the recruit. So I love that. Ben, go ahead.
I was going to say I deal with 3 major, in my opinion, major. I don't know if they're major or not, but all 3 of them are over 1,500 agents. And the way that I meet with new brokers or agents, whatever you want to refer to them as, is we have the ability to, if you're coming from another job, you could roll over your money to us and invest with us. If you have investors, which a lot of good top agents have investors as clients, they could sit down with me and we could discuss how we could potentially work together, either partner on deals, you come in our deals, we come on in your deals. Or if you have an influx of properties, which, by the way, in this day and age, I hope people have an influx of properties, we could take a look at some of them, especially the ones that need to be rehabbed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a decent amount of that going on in the market right now because a lot of the top tier properties have already been gobbled up. And so now there's some other opportunities within properties that are coming on the market. And there's probably going to be some foreclosure, right? At some point soon, some of that will start going on the market. I would think there'd be some opportunity with all of that. Ben, did you, so tell us, what have you been thinking a little bit about this as we're going through this conversation?
Yeah, so I've got two great questions. I'm going to start with one of them because, again, if I'm thinking from an audience standpoint, we're talking a lot about how do brokers or how do agents, if they have properties that you're looking for, how to get in touch with you and that kind of thing. But yes, and not necessarily need the algorithm, but tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about how what those would look like. How would they have a property and say, "Gee, I wonder if this would be good for my own."
Yeah, one of the best ways is just send us the property. We do most of the analyzation on our side anyway. If I have any questions, I reach out to the broker. But generally, we could analyze the property just right off the bat. All I need to know is how much they're looking for, and if you have properties that have sold or comps in the area, they help. But I could find them as well. But just saying, hey, take a look at this property with the address is one of the best ways to do it.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. My second question, and this goes back a little bit to your history, just because this was very interesting to me. When you were speaking with Mark Cox, obviously he's in real estate. You're in the financial, you're in the investing industry, and you said, "Gosh, it was 3 months of negotiations." I would just love, like, maybe even just a 30-second. Man, what's it got to be like to be negotiating between someone who's in real estate, someone's in finance for 3 months? Was that
Yeah,
what was that like?
Just to give a little background, I had known Mark for 10 years prior to that conversation. It wasn't just a simple, hey, can you help me out with connections? So we had known each other for 10 years. But what you just said was the exact conversation. I literally said to him multiple times, and people tell me, don't say that, but I'm a very transparent person, is I don't know real estate. I have no clue what I'm doing in real estate. I've had a couple investment properties leading up to this. I've owned a couple homes that I've lived in, but I don't know real estate. I don't know what to look for. I didn't know what to look for. I didn't know how to, approach it. I didn't know anything about that. And I don't know how to go out there and get money. I have a couple institutional investors, but they set everything up for me. They controlled everything. I want to step away from that. I want more control over what we do, and I want to be able to control the investments. And that's where I need you for. So if you could help me with that, I'll help you with the real estate. I guarantee I'll teach you real estate as quick as you possibly can. And as we're going, every day is a new learning experience. And that's actually where I excel, to believe it or not, is when I get into something that I don't know, is when I really go crazy for it. I don't know if it's just I want to learn. And it's pretty funny because when I was in school, I hated school. Hated it so much. But now I want to learn stuff all the time, learn new things all the time.
Yeah, I can relate to that for sure. And I absolutely love what you're talking about when you said, "Gosh, now I'm in business and I'm partnered up with someone who they have their specialty and I have my specialty, and we essentially complement each other very well in what we're trying to do." We see that a lot, Matt, in the broker side, as well as few brokers that I'm even thinking of right now that we've spoken with, who maybe they're really good at their role, but they could use this other role inside of their brokerage as well that would really take them to that next level. I'd love some insight on that from you, Matt, number one, and then maybe you just tell Matt whether or not he's crazy, Rob, and whether or not everybody should just try and figure it all out on their own.
Yeah, and I think that people should be looking at where the gaps are in their business. So we've talked about this before. There's people that run a real estate brokerage, right? That's somebody that has a real estate brokerage that they really want the agents, and the agents are bringing in money, and that's really how they're monetizing what they do. And then there's people that run a real estate company, right? So that means there's a transaction and a lot of things that go on around the real estate transaction that ancillary ways that they monetize. And then there's some people that have companies that are in real estate. If that speaks to you, what I just said from a broker standpoint, meaning that you have a company and you're looking for ways to do other things in real estate, you're flipping properties, you're doing some developing, you have some agents in there, and there's these other things that you're doing, man, I would get in touch with Rob. And if it's not Rob, get in touch with somebody like Rob, because that's, what you don't want to be is a real estate broker that's really focused on a whole bunch of agents and then growing your brokerage through those agents, and then try to shift into something else that you don't really have an interest in. But if you're somebody that's got that real estate company that does a lot of other things in real estate, like I just mentioned, you've got property management, or you have, commercial and all these other pieces, and you just like exploring those other opportunities, get in touch with somebody that knows that arena. I think that's why you and Mark are working so well on this, is because you both know those individual arenas, and you said, hey, here's a gap, and this fits what you're both trying to accomplish. It wasn't like y'all were both going in two different directions, right? Like you saying, I hate real estate, I'd never do real estate. And then all of a sudden he drags you into it. And him saying, I don't know anything about equities, and I think equities are stupid. And I think putting properties together in groups like that's a horrible thing to do. And then y'all got together. That's not what happened. You were both had that mind, from what I understand of it, you both had that mindset of, hey, let's look and see if there's a way that this could work out, right? Am I missing something on that, Rob, or is that?
Oh, it's 100%. He actually, the way the relationship started off was I was on like a trial basis, and I forgot what it was. It was 90 days, 6 months. I forgot. And then it went well past that. I had spoken to him. I was like, hey, are we past are you happy? And he's, are you happy? And it's like the conversation we have. We don't talk that in depth all the time. It's not like we sit down every 5 minutes. But, and then I want to say it was like a year and a half later, he calls me up one morning. I remember I was brushing my teeth, and he's, hey, so I want to talk to you about something. I got something big I want to bring to you. He's like, I'm making you president of MIOYM Equities. I was like, whoa. I was like, I appreciate that. My first question was, does it come with a pay raise? And he says, hell no. And then, yeah. And then I said, why? And he's, you're running the whole division anyway. I go, I might as well make you the president. And so then when I came into the office, I just said, I was like, why did you make me president? I go, I don't mind. I'll take anything you give me. I was like, but why? And he's, because you're running it. He goes, and you should have that title just to go along with everything you're doing. To have director of investment relations he goes, it says what it is, and that's all it does for you. He goes, but if you're walking in there with a president title, it goes in, and I could care less. When I'm walking into a meeting, my title means nothing to me. I actually don't even tell people I'm president unless they ask me what my title is. Right. But it was appreciative to me that I did get that role, and it was because I was handling things, just to reel it back a little bit, that he wasn't doing and that he has no interest in doing. He will micromanage almost every part of the business, and he doesn't come into my office ever to ask me. Every once in a while, we'll have conversations about stuff, but when it comes to what I'm doing, it's basically like, how much money have we raised? Do we have this deal locked down? Just general stuff, but yeah, never micromanages me.
Yeah, that's a testament to how good of a job that you're doing and how good of a match this is. And so if I'm a broker listening to this, that's one of the things that's one of the big takeaways I would have here is, do I have somebody in my organization that's running a department for me, or that's helping me out? Do I have a head of accounting? Do I have somebody that's in charge of my property management? And I'm having to go in their office all the time and figure out what's going on. Or I would go, man, I'd never promote that person because they're not doing the things that they need to. Man, that should be a telltale sign right there that something's not meshing up. Something's not matching, right? Like you said, he takes care of business on all these other things, but he knows he's got somebody with this. Something as important as this is other people's money. Something as important as this, he's got somebody that he can trust. So if you're a broker out there listening, man, I would pay close attention to this. If you look around your organization and you don't have people like Rob in there that are handling things at that level, take a good look at it and maybe find somebody else that can come in and help out with it and make sure it's going the way it's supposed to. Or the truth is, you could be the problem too. Right? So take a look, take a look at all of it just to make sure that you're being as balanced as possible. Ben, I cut you off. I didn't mean to cut you off a second ago. What were you going to say?
No, all good. Two more things. At least when you're at home or maybe with your in-laws, do you at least tell them to call you Mr. President?
No. First of all, my mother-in-law is a saint. I would never have her do that. My father-in-law, maybe. I should do it for him.
Love it.
And my kids could care less. I don't even think they know what I do, to be honest with you.
Right.
Gotcha. So you talked about before, man, I just didn't like school before, but now I'm just obsessed with learning. From someone else who is also always obsessed with learning, I have to ask the question, what are you learning about right now?
Multifamily and how to develop, finding the gaps in how to analyze development deals. We're in between analysts right now. Someone's got to pick up the slack and figure it out. And it's a fun little adventure to try and figure the stuff out. I mean, we're in between stuff. We're looking at deals that have already been analyzed. So I'm not really analyzing anything myself, but as things come in, I try to figure it out and try to put the numbers together. I'm not that good. I could do back of the napkin stuff, but I can't really
So
do a
we've
full
got,
analyzation, which I think I might want to learn that, though, to be honest with you.
yeah, we've got one of our clients actually used to be a real estate analyst. Remind me and I'll get you connected with her. And if nothing else, she's just a great sounding board.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun thing. It's people that think it's just numbers, but it's actually creativity in trying to figure out how to make those numbers work within what your guidelines are.
Yeah, the numbers are the facts, but that doesn't mean they're the structure.
Right.
Yeah, that's killer. Ben, so I know we want to be super respectful of Rob's time, right? Do you have any other questions?
No, I do not. But I do have one question that I do ask everybody, which is, gosh, if these brokers and our listeners want to get in touch with you or just meet a really cool guy, what's the best way for them to learn about MIOYM Equities or just Rob Costomiris?
Best way is shoot me a message on LinkedIn, Robert Costomiris. It's the easiest way because if I spell MIOYM, people always mess it up, and I don't want to get into that. And then once we go off of LinkedIn, I could shoot me a message on LinkedIn. Again, Robert Costomiris at MIOYM, and you'll find me. I'm usually the first one that comes up.
Perfect. Absolutely. Guys, on his showcase page, as well as the links in the description below, we'll make sure to put that. So go down there and connect with Rob. Matt, anything else from you?
No, great conversation. I appreciate it. I love it. I want to learn more about it. I think this is a super interesting portion of the business. And I think that this is going to grow going into the future, by the way. There's a ton of opportunity in the space that he's talking about.
Yeah, completely agree with that. Rob, thank you so much for coming on the show.
I appreciate you guys having me. It means a lot whenever somebody asks me, it allows me to talk about what I do.
Yeah, much deserved. So everyone listening, one more time, after you've gone and you've connected with Rob and you've learned more about MIOYM, scroll on down in the links in the description a little bit more and click on the one that says Brokerpreneur Not So Secret Society. That's our free mastermind that we do every single Friday from 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time. We talk about growing brokerages, everything from recruiting, retention to agent productivity. You name it. If you want to grow your brokerage, that's the place that you need to be. Matt, we bring on amazing guests just like Rob as what for one reason and one reason alone. Tell them what that is.
Man, we just want to be part of your win. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.